Hello, everybody. Good evening or good morning. How are you doing, Tom?
Yeah, I'm doing good, dude. I asked this before the show, but how are you?
Yes, I'm very good. Thank you so much for joining me. For people in the UK, which is predominantly my Twitch audience, good evening. And to Tom, who very kindly again has got up to deep dive another one of his releases with us. Thank you so much, sir, and good morning to yourself.
Yeah, dude, I always love doing this stuff with you. It's always, I always try to have good answers for for this album in particular, like a lot of the writing is like just weird and some of it is just nonsensical. But yeah, I always try to have good answers for these things. But I'm I'm
You
always
you all you always smash it. Honestly, always. I'm
yeah. This
absolutely.
this one's gonna be a little more difficult. Yeah,
You really okay? That is kind of cool. But
yeah.
I I think most of this album for yourself was probably going to animating PS1 styled characters, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And just to make sure, my audio is not coming through a webcam, right? Because I did a podcast just the other day, with another dude in the UK, and my whole audio like setup was coming through my webcam, and
You
not
you are sounding
um.
great, my friend. Definitely the
All right.
sure that
So
we can hear.
so
Do not
okay,
worry.
great. Because that was a big bummer for me. I went like through the pain of getting it all set up, and then we did like an hour 2 hour podcast, and I felt so bad that he had to get like shafted with webcam audio. But
You are
yeah,
sounding
all right,
great,
yeah,
and I'm sorry for that,
all
guy.
right,
There's nothing worse than when you're doing anything
yeah.
like
I was
this.
I felt so bad. Yeah,
Technology
it did.
always lets you down. Let's go in
Well, it
with.
was yeah,
Sorry.
it was me letting me down. So yeah.
Track one. Let's just go into it. What can you tell us about you who swallowed?
All right, all right. Sorry, I'll let you finish the song names before I jump in. I'm gonna
Sorry,
try not to interrupt.
no, that's far. Swallowed a falling star. Go for it.
Yeah, so I've luckily written like a lot of the well, not a lot, but like for at least like 6 of these tracks, and the album like itself, I've written so maybe the album itself is the easiest to explain first rather than the concept, or the concept for the album rather than the song first, just to quickly go over it.
Yes.
So the concept for the album is pretty much, and this wasn't something that was there from the start. This was something that came maybe like 3/4 into like the demoing phase, or like near the end of demoing, when we were starting to figure out like the track list.
Yeah.
Um, so it started off being like just a collection of 15 songs that we pretty much had, right? But we wanted to find a way to kind of um make them all make sense in a track list, because they were all such different songs that kind of had different tones and different like moods and all that stuff. So when I was coming up with like the artwork and stuff and trying to find a name for the album, I actually found, I think I did the artwork first and then the name came second. So
Cool.
I found Violent Delights after, I mean, I already knew the name. Like, it's just a Shakespeare, like, it's these violent delights have violent ends. It's like it's from like fucking Westworld. It's from like Shakespeare itself. It's from Romeo and Juliet. It's used in like a whole bunch of different things, right?
Yeah.
Um, but like the basic premise of it is that like at least in Romeo and Juliet, obviously most people know how that story goes. If you don't, it's like, they end up dying for love, basically. But in this case, it's the album has a lot of love songs on it. Has a lot of like depressing emo songs on it. And I wanted to find a way to make those two make sense together. So this name kind of it kind of summed all that up for me when I found it. It just it's like paradoxical in a way.
Yeah.
Um that makes sense with all the songs on the album. So the first half of the album is like all the delights in my in like how I interpret it, is like all the like the love songs, or the nicer songs, or the songs that make you feel more like they're more upbeat and more uplifting, I guess, in ways, both lyrically and sonically.
Yeah.
Um, so the first half of the album up until like track 8, which is Yakisoba, is all of those, and then as soon as you hit track 9, it starts to go into the more violent part of the album, which is the more like the not just the heavier part of the album, but also the more like emo part of the album lyrically and darker, and
Sure.
it kind of just flips in a way. So when we were demoing it, and that's pretty much all I'll say about it. But when we were demoing it, we had that like duality in the track lists, and the track list actually came about just from putting all the songs in order of key and tuning, instead of like mainly considering that theme. But it just worked out so well anyway,
Yeah.
that it just naturally fit the theme of the album and the theme of the name. But Falling Star, for our long time listeners, we have another song called He Who Swallowed a Falling Star, which is a quote from the movie Howl's Moving Castle. And we released that song back in like 2016, maybe 2016, 2017, maybe. And then we did a remaster of it in like 2018 on our first album. And then this song is like a follow-up to that. So that I consider that song like the first half of the movie in essence.
Yeah.
And then this part is the last half. So yeah, pretty simple in terms of meaning. It was pretty much written I wouldn't even say it was written to be that originally, but it felt like that in spirit, and it felt like that by the time I got done with demoing the song, that it kind of had that same feeling as it, like, and it made sense to name it that. So yeah, that's what I mean by like a lot of these songs on the album have they're a bit more difficult to explain sometimes, because I can throw you out like a reference or like a feeling that they encapsulate, but or like this one is mainly just like it's kind of like following a thread from like years ago that I'm now just picking up and just it's like doing the same sort of thing again, but with like a different song. So
Awesome.
that's about it. Yeah.
And in classic Tom style, it is a phenomenal opening track. This is You Who...
that's everyone's style. yeah.
This is You Who Swallowed a Falling Star. If you have any questions for Tom as we go through the tracks, let us know. We'll send them his way. Enjoy. This is track 1.
Yeah, for sure.
to the edge of the earth just to meet you there. I would fill my lungs with this unfamiliar air. I would walk to the edge of the earth just to meet you there. I would fill my lungs with this unfamiliar air. Yes, and together, taking the sights, counting the stars before they all ignite. Let me take your hand, let us both take flight. Both take flight. Take
Little teaser the next one.
I was about to say, Rocket, I'm too slow. Old man reactions. God, that song is so good. But I'm just looking at the track still to come. Like, we've still got another 14 to go. Another 14 to go. And there's so many that I'm excited to talk about. And my good lady Jade's favourite song, and probably my second, is up next. My God, it's all so good.
Yeah, it was very hard putting together the list of singles for this album because we had so many that, like, we wanted to kind of make. I don't know where else I've said this, but I've said it somewhere else. But we had like a single plan outlined originally for the album that just like got thrown out the window at one point because we had, I think like Dungeon Dweller was meant to be first,
Right.
and then something happened, like it wasn't quite ready. We weren't like done with the mix, so we had to get a song that was finished out before that, which just happened to be Violent Delights. And then we had like Kiss the Sky on there at one point that got like swapped with something else. And yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, you know, like whenever you make plans, it always gets, never goes the way that we want it to. But I think it always, it I don't know, the singles that ended up being thrown out from the album, they were, I honestly wouldn't have changed what got like the way that we did that now, because it was I think it was exactly the right sort of. I mean, any of them could have gone out, really, judging from the response.
Yeah, no,
but
definitely.
I think, but I think obviously the ones with all the features were just in terms of like, you know, like advertising for the album, all that stuff. Not that I think of features in that way, because we obviously think of them more as, you know, being for the songs first and foremost. But of course, if you're having, you know, talented vocalists or whoever else or musicians on a song, of course you want to throw those ones out first, so people obviously get, you know, there's a bigger audience that you're reaching just by default. But yeah, like we made like all these plans, or I did at least, to have a certain single layout, and then they all just got like thrown out, well, not thrown out the window, but it got rearranged pretty heavily.
Sure.
And one of the songs was like completely undecided for the longest time. But yeah, I really like this next song too. I love all the songs, but this one's definitely one of the early favorites from the album that was also one of the earliest songs that was demoed from the album. I'm pretty sure.
Sure. Again, sonically going in with how like huge the opening track is. I think it's track 2 is keeping the foot on the pedal, on the gas, and more like huge melodies, huge soaring choruses, all the good stuff that we come to expect from you. So
I actually I wasn't sure about a lot of things in this song for the longest time. Not like in terms of like instrumentally or anything, just vocally. Like I wasn't sure if the chorus, I really liked the chorus when I first demoed it, but I wasn't sure if, you know, it was a bit of a switch up, like in terms of like, it's still like quote unquote soaring in some parts, but that was never the goal. That's really like never the goal with a lot of my choruses. I mainly focus on like melody first, and then if it happens to be like a quote unquote soaring chorus that, you know, many people in metalcore or post-hardcore like to do, that's fine. But, you know, that's the first like goal with. I don't go into a chorus like looking to like scream or sing at the top of my voice, because honestly, like if we do ever get to a point of playing these songs live, I don't want every song back to back
Yeah.
to be me losing my breath or being, consistently singing at the top register of my voice
Sure.
for every chorus or every verse or whatever. So I always like start writing a song by doing it usually in lower registers, and then if I find that it needs more energy, I'll push it up to, another octave or whatever. But
Sure.
yeah, I wasn't sure about this chorus for the longest time because I was like, oh, is it too mellow? Is it too... The goal was for it to be dreamy, but I was like, is it too soft, or is it too like too mellow compared to the rest of the song, which is kind of like, even though the verses are pretty like mellow as well, but it comes off of parts that are so intense. But then, listening to it as we went along, demoing other tracks, I was like, okay, we need some more mellow moments on the album, even if it's like dreamy parts or slower parts or choruses that aren't necessarily like always, like full tilt choruses. And I wanted to have that variety in it as well. So I'm glad that I kept the chorus the same as it was.
So am I.
It did change a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, and something I suppose at the moment you are more of like, an internet band kind of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a great point I didn't think of. Of course, you've got to think of the longevity of your voice when you're doing it, if you were to.
Yeah.
Which I hope one day we do see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, in terms of like meaning for the song, like I said, like most of them are like in the first half of the album are like love songs, or not even necessarily like love songs. Like a lot of them are, but not. I guess it's like they were written at all different points when I was like, in different situations.
Yeah.
Some of them are from like lyrically are from like years ago, and some of them are very recent. So like it's kind of like an amalgamation of like a bunch of different times. Like I'm kind of pulling from a bunch of different experiences this time, rather than just like one contemporary experience of like something that I was part of, say like a year or two ago. Like a lot of them are that as well, but I found that I was pulling like Kiss the Sky is more like about, it's like getting close to something but not like, that's all the whole point of like the screaming verse, where it's like I couldn't kiss the sky, so I'd rather die, which is extremely hyperbolic and dramatic, but it was funny, and that's why I kept it, because like I wanted a lot of moments like that are moments of levity on the album, and not just because this first half of the album is so, it is meant to be that like more quote like happy, or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's a happy, but like the more upbeat part of the album.
Definitely.
I wanted to keep a lot of the lyrics having levity and having a sort of, I don't know, a satirical edge to them, and that also goes throughout the whole album, even for some of the more like darker tracks.
Yeah.
Into the end, that like they're still like full of satire. They're still full of like just like random shit that doesn't necessarily make sense on paper, but makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
So Kiss the Sky is like, I would call it a love song, but it's like more of like getting so close to something, but not reaching its full potential, or not getting all the way there, and kind of like falling away from it, or yeah, like I said, this album is a lot more difficult for me to explain.
Yeah, I get that.
Because of the vagaries of just the writing of it, and pulling from so many different parts of like my past, or what some songs are even just like wishful thinking of like my future and what I might want. So a lot of them aren't even necessarily about something that's happened yet. And I find that I like writing about that sort of stuff too, because it's kind of like I like being optimistic about things, and then hoping one day I'll find something that I want, or that I that means something to me personally. But yeah, it's interesting to write songs about that sort of stuff, I've found. So
of course,
yeah,
no,
that's pretty much. Yeah.
Excellent. This is track 2, Kiss the Sky. What a song. Like I said, any questions for Tom, get them in. Enjoy.
Feel you're living in a dream when I'm right here with you. Do you feel it in your bones that it all could come true? My feelings are as obvious as the sky is blue. I could kiss the sky, I'd rather fucking die. Right in a parachute, I'll hit the ground and fly away. I could kiss the sky, I'd rather fucking die. Right in a parachute, I'll hit the ground and fly away. Things used to be so simple. I used to know what I could handle, but with this flood of emotion and fluttering hearts, the butterflies swell in my stomach. I start to feel the wind rise in my head. So elated I float until I fall back down into bed. Now that the night has come to an end, I see the future crystal clear, already know where we're headed. We're flying like we die, and now we got the heaven. It's a hell of a cliche, but somewhere I don't believe it. Every delight has led to despair. But it's all about perspective when you've already come from there. Embrace the rain, and I make it win. Oh, with the stars from the sky to watch them fall in your hair. Never dreamed of anything that's quite like this. Do you feel you're living in a dream when I'm right here with you? Do you feel it in your bones that it all could come true? My feeling for you was obvious as the sky is blue. So taking of you and watch as the rain clouds run in fear of you. I could kiss the sky, I'd rather fucking die. Right in a parachute, I'll hit the ground and fly away. I could kiss the sky, I'd rather fucking die. Right in a parachute, I'll hit the ground and fly away. I'm broken, I'm in shambles. I feel melted like a candle, but I still put myself back together in all the worst ways. We need to learn from each other every day. I still feel you in the breeze. Your sunshine invigorates me. I still drink, but I can't sleep. My head swells like a raging sea. Do you feel you're living in a dream when I'm right here with you? Do you feel it in your bones that it all could come true? My feeling for you is obvious as the sky is blue. So taking of you and watch as the rain clouds run in fear of you. Embrace the light, let's let you despair. But it's all about perspective when you've already come from there. Embrace the rain, and love makes it clear. Oh, with the stars from the sky to watch them fall in your hair. I could kiss the sky, I'd rather fucking die. Right in a parachute, I'll hit the ground and fly away. I could kiss the sky, I'd rather fucking die. Right in a parachute, I'll hit the ground and fly away.
I've completely started talking without unmuting myself. Classic streamer things. No, that chorus, man. Honestly, I cannot articulate how much I love that chorus. It's so good.
Yeah, I find that like a lot of my favorite choruses that we write, maybe like there's like a few exceptions that I really like Crybaby and Yucky Sober, that have like those more like quote unquote soaring choruses. Because I'm saying quote unquote because I don't necessarily even consider them that to a degree. Maybe more so Crybaby, but yeah, like I tend to like the choruses that are more sung in a lower register of mine. a lot more than I like a lot of my like higher register choruses. I don't know whether it's just because it's easier to sing them, so I like singing them just
Yeah.
in my head or whatever. Like it's easier to sing them for most people. It's easier to sing them for myself, and I can just sing them whenever. I don't have to be close all my windows in my room and my doors and to like be able to like belt like Crybaby or something, right? But like Cashmere, Kiss the Sky, what else would I consider like that? Maybe Violent Delights as well, the song. Yeah, a lot of those like lower register, more, I guess lower octave choruses I really like to sing and really like to write, because they're fun to create catchy melodies around without having to just scream yell my voice like at the top of my voice. So
Yeah.
I've been really happy with how people have responded to that song, and
Awesome.
like Cashmere as well, and songs like that have those sorts of choruses, because I definitely will be doing more of them. Like I feel like I've done less of them in Galleons than I have like Valiant Hearts maybe, but yeah, I definitely like doing those choruses a lot, for sure.
Great comment already, saying that Twitch literally censored the word crybaby.
Oh really? Why?
Who knows? Is it because Andrew Wells is in the track? Maybe so. Too handsome.
No idea. Why would it censor?
I
too
don't.
handsome.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just too
swole.
He's too swole. He's too cool.
Yeah.
Up next we have track 3, Vagabond. What can you tell us about
Vagabond.
this one?
We had like a YouTube comments, like someone in our YouTube comments being like, "Oh, I like the song up until I saw the lyrics, smoke a lot of crack," and then and then he's like, "No, this one's not for me." And I'm just like, that lyric came about just because it fit the rhyme scheme and it was funny.
Yeah, I hope he never listens to Dance Gavin Dance, if that's the case.
Yeah, right.
You listen to some John Mess
like,
lyrics.
Yeah, or like, I don't know, God forbid, like Death Grips. Like, yeah, you're not gonna have a good time, dude.
No.
You're just not gonna have a good time. So like the name of this song came from the manga Vagabond, like called the same thing, which I've started recently, or I started recently when I was writing that, but I haven't gone back to it too much yet. But it's really fucking good. Like it's like a samurai. It's like for those that don't know, it's like a samurai, or like it's like a what's the director's name? Kurosawa.
Yeah, it's like a classic samurai film and it's got some
in manga form.
One of the most gruesome like death thing, like a guy getting his face chopped off and stuff. It's amazing. If you like that stuff.
So I took the name from that, but it's not really a song that like I just liked the name. I was like that's I mean, I've knew the word vagabond before that, like of course, like it's a word that's been like Polaris have a song named Vagabond, like probably hundreds if not thousands of metalcore and whatever bands have a song called Vagabond. Like it's whatever. But I just took it from that one because it was more like the song really is like, it's once again like a mix. It's a bunch of like fucking nonsense for one, but it's also a mix of that and once again like feeling the feeling of like being more of like an emotional vagabond, where you're like never really staying in one place emotionally with someone, or you're never really staying in you keep on, I don't know, you just keep on moving, right? Emotionally, you keep on moving regardless of what happens to you emotionally. And I feel like I'm sort of one of those people where I always try to be optimistic. I always try to see the best in people, and I always try to move on from whatever happens in my life emotionally, taking the best parts with me and leaving the worst parts behind, hopefully. And by like emotional vagabond, I mean the term vagabond for one means just someone that is always, I mean, you can like take it in a few ways. There's multiple different definitions technically. Like there's one that you could just consider like a person that doesn't have like a home or a place to live, and they're just constantly moving from place to place, never
on the move,
staying in one location,
just
constantly picking up whatever belongings they have and moving and going to the next place. So by being like an emotional vagabond, I kind of mean that, but I'm always, I never want to like dump my baggage on someone or whatever, like whatever it might be. I always want to take that with me and kind of like, or rather like, it might sound bad as well in the inverse way. You're like, I'm taking all my baggage and I'm putting it somewhere else. But what I mean by that is like, whatever baggage I do have, and I don't have much, like I don't have like my life isn't difficult, and I'm very privileged and very, very lucky to be doing what I'm doing. Like I do music full time now, and that's fucking insane. Like not many people can, even that are in bands that are like so much more popular than ours or whatever, can say that they can do that full time, and it's
amazing.
Such a privilege to do. So I don't take that for granted a day in my life. Like I'm always trying to work on music and do what people have allowed me to do and allowed us to do, by making more of it, hopefully that's what people want as well. So by emotionally being a vagabond, I mean more like in a sense that, I don't like, I leave behind what I can't take with me and take with me what I can. So, yeah, like I think some of the lyrics in this song reflect that, but a lot of them are just like fucking nonsense as well. Like,
amazing.
Like those
we love
lines,
that.
like, yeah,
That we
so
love
that's
that.
probably the best way I can explain it. Yeah.
Before we play it, we have got a great question, which I know you spent so much time on, especially with this album, which is, Tom, can you explain the album cover? It's weirdly disturbing.
So the album cover, it's like the album was like always meant to have like an occult theme, right? It was always meant to be like a weird, I don't know, even from like finding the name of the album came after, so that kind of got attached to the imagery. So the imagery here kind of informed what the name of the album became, because I wanted something like not violent, but that ended up being that ended up making sense with the imagery. So the name, not the name, sorry, the artwork, I found like an old 1600s like sketch, and I forget where I found it. I think it might have been like a pack, like a graphic design pack of like old sketches from like a 1600s like book from like the time, like the Salem witch trials and all that stuff, and like it was like a witchcraft book or something,
Right.
and it was like a drawing. It was, and it doesn't really look like this art now, but I used it as like as reference material for this. So it was like, I think it was like a table. It was like roughly that sort of like composition, but it wasn't like all those things around it. It wasn't all those creatures around it. It wasn't like, it wasn't directly like that, but it was a really good starting point for what I wanted. And it didn't start off being something that I was drawing or like creating particularly for the album, but I was like, oh, like hopefully this turns into, it turns into like, whether I scrap it or keep it, an idea for like maybe like, could be like single art, or it could be, maybe it'll be album art, but I wasn't starting it with album art in mind. And then as I kept working on it and kept iterating on it over the course of like, I don't know, a year maybe, like I kept, originally this didn't even have like the setting of the cave and the dungeon or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It was just like it was just like the creatures and the table on like a solid color background. And for the longest time, I was just going to leave it as that. And we were going to have just like a simple piece of album art that was just the focus on the table and stuff, and the creatures. And I was afraid that if I added too much more around that it would like take away from that. But then I realized that, while it was kind of cool and kind of had focus on the characters, that it like thematically it just didn't kind of all match up, and it felt a bit empty still. So I added the carpet, or the thing that's under the table, the circular carpet, and then I added like all the rocks around it, and then I added the chandelier, and it just kind of all slowly came together over I don't know, like a 1 year period, or like I don't know, like at least like 8 months, where I kept playing around with different versions of the art. And I was like, how simple do I make it? getting the guys' feedback and being like, do we leave it as like a solid color background, or do I, you know, and eventually it kind of just came to fruition over like indecisiveness and wanting to try a few different things, which is what you should always be doing with your album art. I feel like if you're the artist, I mean, like, I understand that not everyone has the money to spend on an artist over the course of a year just trying to figure out like different fucking things. So
yeah,
I'm very, very lucky that I get to be doing all this for my own bands and being able to be in control of that stuff.
Yeah, well, it's a super, super cool album art, and I love all the different characters. And the fact that you had to animate pretty much, well, not pretty much all of them at some point. That is a credit to how much you put into it. So, phenomenal. This is Vagabond. Keep the questions coming, everyone. Enjoy. That is the just every time that there's blast beats, I think it's like so cool that something that sounds so heavy is also so incredibly melodic. I just think it's I don't know how you did it, but it's absolutely insane. What a track.
Yeah, I think both Max and Eugene, I mean Sergey too. Sergey wrote Crybaby at the very end, so they all have such a good like ear for making such weirdly, using like weirdly like I'm hesitant to always use the word metal, but like weirdly like heavier or like things that you wouldn't expect in like that in places that come off such melodic moments, like going from the flute into like such a a weirdly sweet and melodic moment on the song to just a complete like 16th note, or sorry, 32nd note like blast beat,
Yeah.
to like in the span of what, like 2 bars.
It's a hell of a journey, that track. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Talking
Yeah,
of tracks at a journey, this one I've been so excited to talk to you. I probably messaged you about 5 times since release talking about Kismet, but I always say this, and I'm not saying anybody that's watching, even when Tom isn't here and we're doing a normal episode and we're talking about either Valiant Hearts or Gal, I generally think nobody just like writes a story as good as you, especially if it's space themed. I feel like this song could have quite kind of gone on Odyssey by Valiant. I just think honestly, I love this song so much. Tell me as much as you can about it.
I think a lot of these songs were when I was coming off of writing Yonder, actually. So Yonder had like a lot of that space stuff as well, but you know, like Vertigo, oh God, what else was space related? Vertigo was the main one. I think Vertigo was the main one for me, and that was coming off the end of writing for Yonder kind of overlapped a bit with the writing for this album. So I think I was kind of still in that mode of writing about just nerdy stuff that I liked. So that, but also was seeing someone at the time, and now we're not together anymore, but you know, we're like best friends still and we keep in touch, and that's like I couldn't ask for more than that. And I think we both got put in like a really good place from that relationship for the time that we were together.
Yeah.
Because I think before that we were both in kind of I think we were both kind of in like that, I would also hesitate to say rebound like sort of phase, but I think we were both in worse places individually before we were together than after. I think after we were in, I think we helped each other a lot through difficult times in both our lives, which was very helpful. And I think that was kind of like part of why we got together in the first place, because I think we were both kind of looking for that.
Yeah.
So that's what Kismet is like, and some of the other songs on this album as well. Like Kiss the Sky was written during my time that I was with her as well. And Kismet was one of those songs too, and a few others that I'll get to as we go down the list.
Cool.
So it was Kismet, the name, like the word rather, is basically the meaning is just it's similar to like serendipity, where it's just something that was meant to happen for a good, like for the best, for the good, for, oh my God, I can't speak, for a good reason, or like the I don't know, the best outcome of, like, it was meant to happen basically.
Yeah.
Like it was something that was preordained. It was something that was meant to, you know, you were both meant to find that moment together or whatever it might be. So that's where the name comes from, and it's a name that I was holding onto for a long time. And once again, it's a name that's probably been used 100, if not 1,000 times by other bands, and that's not really a worry. You know, when I'm naming a song, I don't really care. It's just about whatever name is what fits the context of the song, what fits it lyrically, what fits it emotionally, and the song is basically about that. It's about that feeling of, you know, finding each other and having that time together that, you know, feels like we were meant to like help each other in a way to get through some shit that we were both going through. And luckily came out on the other end, even though it was like mutually beneficial to, you know, to move apart. We both came out of it with it like a more positive outlook of, you know, our lives, hopefully, or at least emotionally. a more positive outlook on things. So
yeah,
it's very much just about that, and it's about that trying to write about the feeling of kismet, whether it's real or not, whether you believe in it or not, what doesn't matter. It's just about that feeling of feeling like it exists when you have it, right? So
sure.
yeah, it's about trying to articulate that verbally through a song, which to me is something that feels I'm not a religious person. I'm not really even really a spiritual person, honestly. So this song is pretty much like as close as I get to writing about anything to do with that, like just something that feels, like I said, preordained, something that feels like it was meant to happen.
Sure.
And for a good reason. So yeah, that's pretty much the impetus for the song, the reason and the reason for writing it, and the reason for like naming, lyrics, the emotion behind it, pretty much everything. So it's writing about that situation that we were both going through, even the negative stuff, but also like ultimately the feeling of coming out on the other side with a more positive outlook, I guess.
Absolutely. This is track 4 and my personal favourite if I had to choose. This is Kismet. Enjoy.
That's what is at stake. How much time will you spend getting let down again before you let me prove your loneliness can end? So be my earth, be my sun, and be my moon. I would travel the stars with you. With me, this galaxy.
and that was track 4, Kismet. I love that track so much. That is peak Tom Byrne for me.
It's also another track that has, like I was talking about, that lower octave sort of chorus. I mean, until like the end where I add in more higher notes to the chorus, but the first time it comes around, like it's not too high of like, it's more of just like a catchy sort of like rhythmic like pulse that the chorus has, rather than like one that relies on just like screaming or yelling. And I mean, like, oh, I've got like, for example, like right here, right? I'm not sure how many people can see this, like Ground Dweller, like that's where like all of the, like that sort of like, for me, that's where like that entire writing style comes from, where you're not focusing too much on, just screaming your lungs out or writing every chorus to be just like the same, 5 notes where it's just like a long, like a long high note and then another long high note and then maybe like, blah, 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 like, and I like writing choruses that aren't like, that are the opposite of that, really. I really like writing those because I like writing the opposite too. I like writing those high and I'm probably just reiterating myself, but yeah, like I've always enjoyed writing choruses that are easy to sing, not just like, that's just like the perfect example, example in that song. But yeah, I really got that from like so many of the albums that inspired me early on. I've even been talking to Trenton lately from Hands Like Houses, or ex Hands Like Houses now, with all that, the bullshit that went on there. And yeah, just getting to like just talk like one-on-one, like peer-to-peer almost, about pretty much like everything, like lately has been just kind of like surreal for me, but also extremely, just kind of, he's just such a sweet, kind-hearted dude that is just always trying to, I don't know, just yeah, just do his best, the same that I'm trying to do. So it's been very easy to talk to him, very easy to get along with him, and very very, very lucky to just have that connection in the first place with where I started being, what many would have considered just like at least with Valiant Hearts, like a Hands Like Houses clone or whatever you want to call it, or just like inspired by them, which was, it was never my intention, like when you start something, to just be a clone of another thing. Even with Galleons, like we still get like, oh, like you guys should stop trying to sound like Dance Gavin Dance, and like we're not at all, really. Like many people can point to us and say like, oh, it's like they sound a bit like Dance Gavin Dance, and sure, like that's always been a part of our DNA, a part of it's been a part of the DNA in every band that I've been a part of, because that's like where we all kind of started from. Like Galleons wouldn't exist without us listening to Dance Gavin Dance, like back in 2015. And Valiant Hearts wouldn't exist without us listening to Hands Like Houses. Sorry, did I say Hands Like Houses? I meant maybe I said Valiant Hearts.
No, you got
Valiant
it right.
Hearts
I got
exist.
it.
Yeah, without listening to Hands Like Houses back in like 2014, 2015. So like we can, like I said, we carry that with us, like we're like everywhere. Like no matter what we will do, even if we change our sound drastically, right, there is still going to be a part of our music that sounds like that, because that's where we feel most comfortable. It's where we have, a lot of our DNA exists and comes from. But with Galleons, like even this album was never, even though like, yes, many people will point towards it and say like, oh, Swancore or Dance Gavin Dance, because dual vocalists and some kind of crazy like screaming parts and swapping between screaming and singing and stuff like that. But like Dance Gavin Dance, even though they're the ones that pioneered that and made it popular, like we definitely, even early on, we pulled more from like The Fall of Troy, At the Drive-In, a lot of different math rock stuff. Like it wasn't just Dance Gavin Dance, like, and like it's just easiest, I think, for people to point to that and say, you should stop trying to sound like Dance Gavin Dance. And And that's fine. Like, people can say that, they can throw that comparison out there. I mean, it's flattering in a way, because they've basically pioneered an entire genre for themselves almost.
Sure.
And like, whether you like it or not, whether you like say what you will or not about Dance Gavin Dance, like, I feel like more than anyone, they've basically kept post-hardcore alive for, you know, they've kept it, they've given it a pulse.
Sure.
For the last, what, like, decade? They're still
easy.
one of the most popular, like, post-hardcore bands, regardless of, like, the controversy around them, whatever. I'm not even talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm just talking, and I said this on the last podcast I was on, but and it's kind of, I'm gonna keep it brief because we have a lot of songs to get to still. But post-hardcore is, like, incredibly underground again now. It's metalcore is definitely more mainstream. Like, you can tell with, you know, getting Grammy nominations. Not that is the be all end all of you know, popularity or notoriety, but obviously metalcore is in, like, a much bigger and better place right now than post-hardcore is, because just with all the bands surrounding it, like Spirit Box collaborating with, like, top 10 pop artists like Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
Like, obviously metalcore is just objectively and pretty much unarguably in a much stronger place right now than post-hardcore is. And post-hardcore has kind of, like, fallen back into being incredibly underground, incredibly niche again.
Sure.
It's adjunct or adjacent to metalcore, yes, but it's in, like, its shadow in a way.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm always going to want to make post-hardcore music. Like, me and Sergey have started a third band now that's another post-hardcore band, but we want to keep trying to, not necessarily, like, making it modern is always, you know, I think what a lot of bands focus on these days, because they want to chase, you know, like what Bad Omens is or Sleep Token or whatever.
Sure.
But I feel like anytime you try to modernize a post-hardcore band too much, and maybe this is a symptom of why it's not as popular as well as metalcore in context, is because when you try to modernize post-hardcore a lot, it kind of just ends up becoming metalcore anyway, because you end up going, like, lower in tuning.
Yeah.
You end
definitely.
up playing, make it more riff-based. You kind of, like, choose to lose the leads a little bit, or you bury the lead guitar a bit more, or you simplify it, whatever. And it kind of just ends up homogenizing post-hardcore into what is basically metalcore.
Yeah.
And then the line gets blurred even more, which is fine. Like, I'm not gatekeeping anything. I'm just trying to kind of lay it out from my perspective. And I think it's a reason why post-hardcore is becoming so much more underground and so much more niche than all the contemporary genres like punk, or pop punk and metalcore, is because I don't think anyone has really found a good way to modernize post-hardcore, or at least the post-hardcore sound from, say, like 2008 to 2015. Everyone is kind of just still reiterating that, and we're even guilty of that. Even with this album, we're still doing that, but we're trying to find ways to slowly or in a way modernize it so it doesn't feel, so you don't have to get everyone pointing at it going, oh, it just sounds like a throwback album, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing either. None of these things are negatives.
No, that sounds
it's
good
just
to
to
me.
say, yeah, but it's I don't think anyone has found a fundamental way of updating post-hardcore, maybe outside, like, Japan. Japan has some fucking extremely fucking creative bands in terms of post-hardcore that sound fresh as shit. Or maybe that's probably the wrong analogy. Fresh as shit is not very good, but, like, you know, very fresh. And, you know, I'm passionate about this because it's what I like writing, and I like trying to find new ways to not reinvent the wheel, but, you know, keep it being pushed forward so it doesn't just keep falling back to being underground every 5 years.
Yeah.
And keep falling in the shadow of every other genre that's pushed in front of post-hardcore. But, you know, my point is, and I'll end this point, like, I'll end what I'm saying here, is that I don't think anyone has really found a fundamental way of modernizing post-hardcore in the way that metalcore has been modernized by a lot of bands today. You know, like Grammy Award nominated bands. You know, they're getting the eyes and ears of, you know, the Grammys and prestige, not even prestigious, because like fuck the Grammys, but you know, like most people, like most award shows just like are just, you know, unless we have a winner Grammy in that case, like please, like thank you for nominating us for a Grammy. But like most of the time, you know, like award stuff like that is like, yes, amazing if you're nominated, amazing if you win, but you know, a lot of the time it's the nomination categories and the winners are very outdated in the way of, you know, like nominating and stuff like that is very outdated and stuff like that. And like I said, it's not the be all end all of popularity or success. But it is a very good barometer and a very good, you know, a way to measure the current mainstream popularity of a genre, right? You know, if something is showing up at the fucking Grammys, it's obviously getting a lot of eyes and ears, and it's very, you know, it's more in the public zeitgeist and the consciousness than, say, like I think I brought this up in another podcast as well, maybe the last one that I did. I don't know if there's ever been, you know, a Grammy nominated post-hardcore band. Maybe there has been, maybe like 30 Seconds to Mars back in like when they were doing like the Kill era. Maybe they were nominated for something back then. But you know, not very often, and not like recently to my knowledge. So I think there is definitely room in post-hardcore for, you know, a band. I'm not even saying us or, you know, whatever. Like I'm not nearly egotistical enough to say that we want to do that. Even though it is always, you know, on our minds to try and do something different or try and add something new. But I think there is so much room in this genre for something to be done to modernize and bring it up to the same level of popularity as, say, where metalcore is. So yeah, I'll finish it there. I'm rambling, but yeah, we have a lot to get through.
No, I get it and appreciate that. It is. I do think post-hardcore again can be. I'm going to call it a sleeping giant, because I think one day it can do, because it's just got. It can be so varied, and what I would say is, as a big metalcore fan, metalcore did really go through the dirt about 5 or so, maybe more years ago, where it was. So, I mean, you see like 2012, like Memphis Mayfire being on mainstream telly and stuff, and then after that, it's so I do think post-hardcore will rise again, and I think you guys will be a big part of that. Let's talk about Blue Lagoon.
So like Kismet, this one was also written about like that, or written at the same time when I was with that person. So it's those same sort of feelings as well. Cause that was a long distance relationship when it started, and then I was in the USA for 3 months with them, and that was great. That was like, you know, that was to kind of see if it like, if you know, the feelings were real, and what was going on there for us both to know for sure, you know, like what feeling and all that sort of stuff. So that is basically what the song is about, as well as, once again, a bunch of nonsensical like screaming shit when, you know, when that bridge hits in the middle, or whatever you want to call it, the one verse that is not a verse because it doesn't repeat, because the song is basically just 2 choruses and then just a bunch of bridges in between. So yeah, the song is written about that period in my life and hers, and trying to come to terms with, you know, like what lengths would I go to figure out like what this is in like as a whole, you know, like what are we feeling, what is what is the future here, like what is our future, like what are we going to stay together, or are we just going to stay friends, like all that sort of stuff, all those questions. And and I have my answer now, and I'm, like I said, it was completely mutual by the end, because we both figured out that it was, you know, even though it was like an amazing time together, and we really like, I still like, we still talk, everything like that. I think writing these songs, being there, figuring it out, just giving it a go, and then, you know, coming to terms with each other, being in a good place, hopefully, or being hopefully in a better place than where we started, is like what the song is pretty much about. So So yeah, it's kind of like all the screaming parts are kind of just like random assortments of satirical thoughts or whatever. Like there's a bunch of just random bullshit in the screaming
Yeah.
to kind of fit the name of the song. So like the name of the song is more attributed to the screaming parts than anything.
Right.
Because I wanted to call it like Black Lagoon at first, but that didn't really fit with the theme of the song and the sound of the song. Blue was more of like a vibe that I was getting from it, like more dreamy, more serene, but at the same time it was meant to fit. Like I was going through a phase where I was trying to like write a song for each of the characters at the table.
Yeah.
And this one was meant to be like creature from the Black Lagoon. But I wasn't vibing with the like that sort of color theory for the song. So
Sure.
I went with Blue Lagoon, and then that's like attributed to one of the characters at the table. And then other songs on the album are also like attributed to characters at the table. Like Russian Roulette is like the skeleton and death, and like maybe like the witch as well, because it like has like occult Salem witch trials imagery in that song. And then
Yeah.
Yucky Sober Dare is like the blue demon that sits, or not even demon, it's like a weird like bull. I call them like Beelzebub or some shit.
Yeah.
Sitting off to the right side of the table, with the wings and the I mean there's two blue guys, it's a little confusing, but yeah. So like I tried to give like every character their own song, like thematically on the album. So they all kind of felt like they had a reason for sitting there, and they all had a not a backstory, but at least like a theme in a way. So yeah.
Awesome. This is track 5, Blue Lagoon. That question we will get to after this.
I cherish all the time, each and every little moment. Can't get you off my mind, but I want you there, I promise. No matter how much time goes by, I swear that I'll never change. I will be here for you until we fade away. Wish upon the same song, fell in love from so far. No matter the distance, I never regret this. As long as we feel more than anything real, and below the surface, we know we deserve this. Our love will be yours in good time. The good cause will just stay in us slow. But when we arrive, the wait will be worth it, I know. The wait will be worth it, I know. If it's looking down for him, I can't even believe it. Get the rush and rush, but we're coming to listen. Need a top line head to give a shit. Short attention span, what a life to be living. Every breakdown, my cheeks get weighed down by my tears. They won't stop flowing, no, they won't stop flowing. Now I'm 6 feet down, and the rain, it won't stop pouring. No, it won't stop pouring. Down around me now, I'm swimming with the fishes in a one-sea horse town. Dead, my face down, at the bottom of a lake where
And that was Blue Lagoon. Great track. Again, I love... Again, I do... especially now you've said it as well whilst doing the stream, the lower range stuff, I think...
Yeah, I think that's
really
that's
cool.
another good example of it too. And I think probably most of them are like in this first half of the album as well.
Yeah,
I think a lot of like the more intense tracks, like the tracks that are like higher register, come later in the album as well. So I think that's like a good change of pace too.
sure.
It kind of like swaps over in like Yucky Sober, where it starts introducing more of those types of choruses. But yeah, I really like that track too. That's one of my favorites from the album for sure.
Awesome. And getting a lot of that early on when we went live. A lot of love for that track, which is awesome. Up next, it's title track time.
Yeah, so obviously this one is just like pretty heavily Shakespeare inspired due to the name.
Yeah.
I had like the meaning for it like written somewhere. Maybe I didn't, but yeah, it's basically just like a retelling, like a loose retelling of Romeo and Juliet in a way. So it's like, but like in a more like modern contemporary, not even a retelling. That's very pretentious to say, but like a modern like interpretation lyrically of that. Like, like my favorite line probably like. Even if true love's a scam, I'm still a fan. Show your ass for profit, which is like, just like a completely stupid line, but it's like, yeah, it's just made me laugh. So I kept it in, and I kind of like, I don't know, like this age, like dating and finding love in the digital era is a lot like that. So it's
Absolutely.
I just wanted to kind of illustrate that. Oh, now my cat wants out. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Cat comes first. We're all good with that. Big up cats.
Claws the door to come in, and then she wants to leave immediately.
Yeah, just classic cat.
Yeah. My other one doesn't do that. He just like tries to tear the carpet in the ground, and
yeah, we've just got new
just
carpets on
destroys-
the stairs, and that's already getting ripped up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I know.
He doesn't do it anywhere else. He doesn't do it anywhere else other than if there's a closed door. So I try to leave all the doors open.
That's big brain.
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, he'll really claw at the carpet. Even when I like trim his nails, he'll still be able to do a good bit of damage.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend, keeping as many doors open as you can when you're at home.
That is good advice. You know, it is good advice.
Yeah.
Let's go. This is Violent Delights. Keep the questions coming.
Even if it's cynical, we love it. Even if
And that was title track. Absolutely love that song so much.
Yeah, me too. I think that was also one of the earliest songs that was demoed, I'm pretty sure. And I think it was titled, I honestly think it was titled Violent Delights before the album was titled Violent Delights. So I think that's probably where the earliest naming of the album came from, and the single. So yeah, I actually forgot all about that this song was even named before the album was. Because I think yeah, they definitely didn't happen at the same time, and I was still looking for an album name at that point, and I'm like, oh fuck it, just name it Violent Delights. Like, I'm not gonna find anything better than that.
It's a great name.
Yeah, it ended up being like extremely fitting, as I mentioned. So yeah, yeah, you, like, both the guys, like everyone on this album just wrote fucking absolute heaters, like all the way through. That's another song from Eugene, or Evgeny, but we would call him Huge now, or Eugene. So yeah, he wrote a lot. He wrote Violent Delights, Yakisoba, Vagabond. Shit. Now I got to look at the track list. But yeah, a lot of the like more upbeat songs are the ones he wrote. I think the only two like really emo tracks Huge wrote like Russian Roulette and Lament, I think. Yeah. So a lot of Huge's tracks are like in the first half. He wrote, like, he likes to like write a lot more upbeat songs, I would say, compared to Max. Like, me and Max are on like the same wavelength when it comes to what sort of sound we like sonically. Like, we like the more emo stuff, the more the darker tone sort of stuff. So yeah, Huge wrote Falling Star, Vagabond, Violent Delights, Kashmir, Yakisoba, Russian Roulette, and Lament. And then Max wrote Kiss the Sky, Kismet, Blue Lagoon. Huge wrote Violent Delights as well. I'm not sure if I said that.
You did.
So Max was Kiss the Sky, Kismet, Blue Lagoon, Dead Man Wonderland, Downtown Dinosaur Gang Part 3, Dungeon Dweller, Nothing Natural, and then Sergey wrote Cry Baby. So yeah, everyone just, like, even though this was written over like the course of like 2 to 3 years,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we just, in the end, we just chose the best ones from that entire 3-year period, and I think we're all really, really happy with the entire track list.
You definitely should be. Let's move on to the next one, which is Kashmir.
Yeah. So Kashmir is basically, I think again, that was also written around the same time, I think, as I was in that relationship.
Yeah.
But it was more about, I think it was written not necessarily about that relationship, but it was like about like maybe like my general anxiety or fears with relationships, where you know, it's mainly, or sorry, maybe it's like a irrational fear, but it's when I say fear, it's probably completely juxtaposed by a song that is so like upbeat and poppy, but which kind of like makes it sound weird to say that the song is about like fears or anxieties, but it's like my fear of getting not too comfortable in a relationship, but too maybe like, I don't know, like letting myself get too comfortable early on, where where me or someone else gets too comfortable early on, and then there's like not enough time to like it either moves too quickly, or it feels, I don't know. It's kind of like another vague and difficult one to explain for me. It could either be taken like two ways in my mind, where it's the anxiety of something moving too quickly, and disliking it, or kind of drifting apart because of that, because things move too quickly, or it's about sort of getting so comfortable and then losing that in a way.
Yeah.
Where you get so comfortable with someone, and you know, you're sharing all these things and blah blah blah, and then it all just, kind of like falls apart. And so Kashmir was like thought of in a way to kind of put that into metaphor in some sense, where it was like, you know, it feels very comfortable, it feels very safe and warm and satisfying, and then over time you start to realize that you know, that feeling is either disappearing, or that it's, I don't know, that it's slowly just becoming not that in a way. And it's it's kind of a really, it's kind of a vague feeling. It's kind of like a vague fear and like a vague anxiety. It's kind of, I would say, when maybe when you get down to the when you get down to brass tacks and you like kind of get to the core of it, it's about like the anxiety or the fear of opening up to someone and being vulnerable like that, and being soft, or being, you know, being open like emotionally, and then, you know, losing that, and then the, you know, the anxiety and the, you know, you have the thoughts of like, oh, this is like over now I'm gonna have to do it again, I'm gonna have to, like, you know, it can be very draining, you know, like having to go through that each time, and like, and be vulnerable without knowing what the outcome of that is going to be. Yeah. So I guess that's sort of like what the song is kind of getting at.
Sure.
So yeah, it's probably the best way I can explain it.
Awesome. This is track 7. This is Kashmir. Enjoy.
Give it all
that was in the incredible Kashmir. Such a good track. Up next is Yakisoba. Now I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite song from the album. If I had to, if you had like gun to my head,
Yeah.
You had to make me pick one, I would say this song, just because when I first got that chorus down, I was so happy with it, and I don't know if I've been that happy with getting a chorus down since then. So that's saying something. That's not something that happens often for me.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, like I'm always grateful to hear how much people love other choruses that I write, or other parts that I write, or whatever. But that one was like, even me, I was so happy with it that that it was a really kind of I don't know, it was a moment just for me to realize that I'd written something that was immediately catchy, immediately got stuck in my head, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So Yakisoba is really a pretty simple song, like thematically. It's really like, it's just a song about enjoying and kind of not taking for granted the simple pleasures in life, really. So like, even a fucking bowl of ramen or yakisoba.
Yeah.
Which I love. Like, just you know, it wasn't really a song about anything too heavy, even emotionally, like just or too, you know, it was just a simple, like, straightforward song about just enjoying like the little things. So yeah.
Like
it was still written around that same time as that relationship as well.
Right.
A lot of the songs that we're about to move into weren't, and they're songs that were like drawn from other experiences and other times in my life.
Okay.
But this one was probably like one of the last ones here that was written around that time. So that's what I mean by like the first half of the album was like really about like these good experiences and these good feelings and mostly good feelings. And you know, good memories. And then the second half of the album is drawing from, you know, not such good things, but trying to like, the last half is like kind of like a vent, like part of the album, like trying to just get out the negativity, get out the bad thoughts that, you know, that I don't want to keep with me. So like in a way that's like going back to Vagabond, where I'm trying to like get these things out of my head onto paper in songs, so I can kind of not necessarily like leave them behind, but like leave those thoughts behind in, you know, some other form of, you know, whether it's art or you know, writing or sort of thing. So yeah, Yakisoba is simply just about enjoying the little things, enjoying the small pleasures, enjoying just whatever you have, and being grateful for whatever you have, really.
Awesome. This is Yakisoba there. Let me know what you think. And Tom, more importantly.
Well, I dare to believe I could be what you needed me to be. But honestly, that was selfish of me. Don't wanna lose what this could be. So close, yet so far. Ain't that much time left on this dying star. I fear there's not long before a second chance is gone. I'm on the down, but the week ain't over. Leaving Yakisoba till I'm going sober.
Man, I love that track. I know I say that after everyone, but again, I can see why. I mean, there's so many of your choruses that I absolutely love. Also, a really good point up. I know that we're kind of skipping and going back a bit here, but
Yeah, that's all good. I don't mind.
I think someone said, I think it was Kashmir, that I can't scroll back up enough now, but reminded them a bit of Alaska, and I thought that was really cool. I can kind of get it.
Yeah. I think that's always like that sort of like type of post-hardcore has always been my sort of favorite as well. Like, I mean, I'm even friends with Marvin and you know Phil as well from Floyer.
Yeah,
Who you know like Marvin used to be in Alaska, or like that was his band. And now they've got Floyer, so that's like if you don't know them, definitely check them out. Floya.
yeah. Do you know what's awesome about
Um,
this is I remember when we did the last deep dive, you basically name dropped
Yeah.
Floyer before they'd announced Floyer, and then so I was already excited, and then my God, they're so good. They're so
they're
good.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Alaska and you know, my favorite type of post-hardcore has always been that, you know, very deeply resonant and like rich sounding I don't know, choruses or vocals like Kasim's vocals from Alaska,
Yeah,
like Alexis on Fire with Dallas Green,
the
you know,
goat.
Amorosa with Jonny,
Yeah,
you know, all those types of voices are like what I was always attracted to, that you know, they were always just so rich, so vocally, just had so much depth vocally.
definitely.
And you know, I was just lucky enough to have, I was always lucky to be in the same vocal range, in the same what would you call it, like the same timbre, or is it pronounced timbre? Maybe it's
Yeah,
timbre.
I think that's the best way to describe that. Definitely.
Yeah, I was always in that same sort of place as those vocalists, which is, you know, very lucky. Just because, you know, when I first started singing, I wasn't very good, but you know, as you practice more and you get to a point where you can kind of sing those songs that are your favorites, like in a competent way. And I found that those songs were very easy to sing for me because I was in the same timbre, I was in the same like all of those vocalists that I name are all like tenors or alto tenors, or even, I mean, probably mostly tenors or bass. I don't know, they could be bass tenors. But you know, like they can go like very low and very high.
Yeah,
And that was always what drew me to them, that they had such vocal depth to go, or vocal agility, maybe I should say, to go in such wildly different directions. Like you can listen to like pretty much, I don't know, like 5 different Alexis on Fire songs, and Dallas Green will be doing like something fucking completely different on most of them.
yeah,
And doing like completely just such a versatile singer. And that was always my goal, was to try and sing in different ways and different octaves and use different, I don't know, techniques or whatever you want to call it, to sing in different ways and make it sound like every song was, you know, I was trying to do something new at least, or if it wasn't new, I was at least trying to make it interesting in a way, or give depth to a part of the song that, you know, to, I don't know, enhance it in a way.
awesome.
But yeah, like you saying Alaska, that's definitely a good point of comparison, I would say, because that's something that I was always a fan of Marvin's, and
Definitely,
yeah,
and I think that's a good point with going with things like you're fans of, and I know that you've done so quite a bit with him, working with him. But Ryo and Deadman Wonderland, what can you tell? How did that one come about?
So, you know, I was friends with Yosh from Survive to the Prophet, since we did that song together,
Yeah.
Banshee from Yonder with Valiant Hearts.
What
And
a
that
song.
was pretty out of the blue as well. Like I was just a fan of Yosh's work, and you know, they're obviously a much bigger band than we are, and I didn't even expect really to get an email back from their management or whatever, or like I never do, but I still like shoot my shot, right?
Why not? Of course.
So I just shot him a few songs back then, and then that all came about, and then we stayed in contact. And then Rio was, had left Crystal Lake and he started his new band, which is Gnosis,
Yeah.
which is fucking amazing. And then Yosh was like, Rio needs some, we need some help with some visual stuff. Would you be down to, help with it? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, let me just, crank out something and see what comes out. And I did like a little animation of his logo. And they were kind of just over the moon with it. So Rio, Yosh introduced me to Rio. And then he was just like, yeah, Rio can like just do a feature for you because you basically like came in at the 11th hour and did like a animated his logo for him so he could release his songs with some visuals. And yeah, just like very, very fortunate to be put in touch like that. And
That's awesome.
And Rio's like a fucking just, I love Rio. He's like one of my, I consider him a very good friend.
Yeah, he's an absolute hero.
Now, like sweetest fucking guy, like deserves the world. One of the hardest working dudes I've ever seen. Like I was on tour with him. Oh, I wasn't on tour. I was just going along with the tour.
Yeah.
Like they were sweet enough, kind enough to bring me along for a week when I was in Japan, last year. And I just like, it was like jaw dropping to see just the level of commitment that he puts in physically, the level he puts in mentally, like everything, the stage production, their sound design for the set, like every detail, like him and the guys in the band, just like I don't think I've ever seen, obviously there obviously are out there, but personally I'd never seen a harder working dude, before, like with my own two eyes.
Yeah.
And the output that he was able to do on stage every single night just was insane. Just the physicality, the energy, the fucking just an absolute, just a monster on stage. Just in like the biggest stage presence that I've seen in my life. Just crazy amounts of energy and charisma. And then when he's off stage, he's like the sweetest
guy.
The sweetest. I wouldn't say he's quiet. He's not quiet, but like he kind of is. Like I mean, like he's, he only really like speaks when spoken to, or when he has something to say, or when he's like, when he wants to talk to someone, But other than that, he's like always just so chill and so sweet. And yeah, I love him. He was so welcoming to me. Like took me all around Akihabara, and like took me to all these different places. Fucking dude paid for my accommodation that entire week-long trip, all the way to Osaka and all the way back.
Wow, so nice.
And I didn't even know. Like I was ready to pay for my accommodation, and he said it was all taken care of. And I had no idea, so I'm just like, dude, just whatever you need, I'm there for it. And whatever you or Yosh need, or any of these guys, I just always, I just always had them in mind, and always, there you go. It was just like I don't know, the kindest that I've been treated by pretty much anyone. And he had, there was no expectation of it. There was no expectation from either of us on anything. And it was just kind of happened that way. And then he just chose a song to be on, and I'm just like, dude, just do your thing, do whatever you want, change the lyrics, or keep whatever. Like you can just do whatever. Like it's just do whatever with it. Like I trust you.
That's so
sick.
And
that was before I even went to Japan, I think, and I'm going again in April to catch up with him.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I can't wait. So yeah, it was just
let's go for it. This is track 9. This is Dead Man Wonderland featuring Ryo, the absolute legend. Keep the chat going. Let me know what you think and what you think to Tom.
reaches to the sky. Living as the question why. What we can or what we carry on when the night is young. What we glad for, what we wait for, don't just to touch the sun. The wait is never ending. What if it never comes? Yes, it be all for nothing. A world that never lasts. There's nothing left for us now. We've gone our separate ways. Don't look up, don't look down. And this nausea will fade. One of these days, my face might just turn blue. Tangled up in this news to remind you that one of these days I'll come back to haunt you and say there's reason to live even if you don't want to. Even though everyone deserves to. I never got to say that I'm sorry for pushing you away. I made mistakes, but I live with them every day. And now I'll never be the same. Because I've pushed you away. There's nothing left for us now. No more as eclipse today. Don't look up, don't look down. We no longer need gravity. Bring yourself back to reality. 'Cause no one can do it for you. Face facts, this is the fantasy, and it will be ending soon.
Sorry, I maybe pressed pause a bit too soon, but
No, you got it perfect.
perfect. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that song almost didn't make the album because we had another song in its place. But you know, is my mic working properly?
Yeah.
I'm
You
just
know,
making
you
sure
sound-
because it wasn't popping up on the level reader.
You're sounding good, man. Don't worry.
All right. So that song originally wasn't in the track list because it was at one stage and then it came off because we had another song go on there and it was kind of in flux for a little bit. But like we had a kind of a big talk about it and what should be where and whatever. And we kind of realized that, because we have 3 different people writing for this album, like instrumentally, we had, Sergey did one song, and then Max and Eugene both had like a bunch of songs that we needed to find a way to fit on there. And I think before this song was even on the album, it was kind of outweighed more in Eugene's favor, where he had more songs on the album than Max did. So we had like a big talk about, like figuring out a way to balance that out so everyone had the same amount of songs, like that Eugene and Max both had the same amount of songs on the album. So it was fair. And then we had this song that was like, I demoed it, but because I had my own like album like layout for the track list, and I never said that was like what it was going to be, but I said like that's what I had in mind for the track list. And it was like, I think it was maybe like 6 Max and 7 Eugene or something. So then one of Eugene's songs ended up getting cut, so he had the same amount of songs as Max. So that song actually might not be like, that song almost wasn't even on the album. But I'm glad it was now.
Definitely.
And I'm glad it is. Not to say that the song that was cut was any better or worse. It was just more about, it was definitely more like, in hindsight now, I see that it was a great addition to this back half of the album, because it kind of acts as the handing off point to where the album kind of like shifts gears into this completely new tone almost.
Yeah.
So yeah, hindsight is 2020 with all that stuff. Like it takes 6 months to a year after looking at it to go like, okay, it was all meant to be. It all happened for a reason. And yeah, like I'm glad it all kind of worked out that way, so everyone was like happy with how many songs they had on the album, because you know, you don't want to have like fights happening in the band for no reason when it's so easy to resolve.
Absolutely.
You know, but we also always want to just have like what the best songs are on the album, but that's always so subjective anyway that you can't really like pin that down to an objective opinion, because you all like songs in the band for different reasons, and I like songs mainly obviously vocally. Like I like the strongest ones vocally to be on the album. But not everyone sees that the same way, so it's kind of hard to like remove yourself from that equation sometimes, and look at it unbiasedly and subjectively, and go like, okay, but you know, how do we keep this fair? How do we keep everyone happy? How do we make, you know, everyone feel like they're being treated fairly in the band? And I think that was like a good thing for us to carry into the future as well, where we, you know, while we do try to include everyone in the writing process and stuff and give everyone the same amount of, you know, relative freedom to write what they want, usually, you know, Max and I usually start off with the vision for whatever the release is, and the, you know, I usually have the visual vision for it, or the visual theme for the album, and then Max will usually like come up with the sound of the album with like the first few demos, or like what direction the album will be heading, and then everyone kind of adds to that and kind of builds. Like Max kind of like lays the foundation sonically, and then everyone else builds the house on top of that. So yeah, I think we've that's part of how we can also write so quickly, because we, you know, Max like might write a bunch of demos. He's also the one that writes like probably the quickest as well. So he'll just like write a bunch of things, and sometimes different tones and different, you know, different moods or whatever it might be. And then we, you know, maybe a few months into writing that stuff, we'll go, okay, yeah, we're pretty happy with that. Let's get everyone else to write something like to add on to that sound. So yeah, that didn't actually happen with this album, funnily enough. This one was
Right.
more of like just like everyone took different songs that they already had and kind of just sent me demos. And we just wrote a bunch of demos and stuck them together, and then figured out a theme for it all and a name, and you know, how to visualize that. But going forward, you know, we have that kind of, you know, from like quote unquote arguments we had in the process of writing this one, we found that it was best to, you know, everyone kind of like was writing so much during the period of writing this album that we could not fit it all on the album. We had to cut out a lot of songs, and then everyone was bummed because some of their, you know, some of the stuff they were writing was just not even getting used or demoed, just purely because I didn't have the time to demo it all, and we had so many songs for the album already that were pretty much confirmed.
Yeah.
We kind of came to the conclusion that going forward, we would only start writing new demos once, like we weren't going to overlap the albums anymore. We were going to start writing new demos only once we were ready to start writing new demos and we had a solid idea for what we wanted to do, rather than just writing for the sake of writing. Because we found that when we just write for the sake of writing, we get stuck with a whole bunch of shit that we never use, and it's just a waste.
Yeah.
So we found that, yeah, getting an idea and a vision in our head first for what we want to do, and then writing from there is much better for us, like mentally and I guess like stress wise in the band, to not just think that what you're writing is going to get like possibly thrown away. So yeah, I don't know where that started from or what the train of thought was there, but yeah.
Let's move on to track 10, Russian Roulette.
So this song is basically just like a huge like satirical satirical song on like, I guess when I was writing it, I was kind of just like trying to write like a satire on like the kind of like the fetishization of like emo culture and like suicide culture and all that stuff. Like it's just become so, it's like that sort of stuff, which is super weird to me, and it's always felt kind of super weird. Is that like emo culture is fine for one, like nothing against that. Like it's completely fine, but like it's become so so I think fetishize is the right word. It's become so like mental health. Like I'm someone that suffers from a lot of like fucking like, I'm not the only one. I'm just saying this as my personal experience, that I like suffer from a lot of anxiety, like even social anxiety, like depression in the past. Like I said, I'm in a much better place now than I was. All of that stuff. I think it gets like, this song was kind of like written to illustrate like that fetishization that I feel like not just like people, and not just like how do I put this? I don't want to be misunderstood. It's more of like a commercial thing than anything. Like it's more of like that culture has been so fetishized commercially by, say, artists that aren't actually like, that haven't experienced those things, that, and not just even in music, but like by just like I don't even know how to put it like properly, but it's been treated so much more like a, I don't know, like it's been sold to people more than it's been like a community of people, or a culture of people that's been like that actually suffers through those same things and comes together to kind of help each other through those like mental crises. That, it's more of like a fucking, I don't know.
I 100% know what you're saying.
It's like a worldwide like fucking hot topic. But like, how do I just don't want to come off like saying it the wrong way, but it's like,
you're not at all. I think a lot of people as well. It has become. Yeah. So this song is kind of just poke fun at that. Yeah, it's become a gimmick, hasn't it? Basically, but
yeah, it's become an easy way to just like put on eyeliner and makeup and say you have mental problems and start a band, or like be a social media like presence, or like an artist or whatever, like on TikTok or whatever. And you're like, regardless of age too, like it's not like I see it happening from age groups all the way from like people that are like 18 now that are on TikTok that may or may not have those mental struggles, to people that are still like 30 to 35 years old now, like fucking like MGK, like Machine Gun Kelly.
Do you know how long I've been holding off saying his name? Yeah,
like that's
true.
That's the biggest one to me, where it's just like a fetishization of that entire culture of music and whatever, just for the sake of appealing to what are probably mostly just underage girls.
Yeah.
Or like that's probably the focus demographic of his music, if I had to guess, right?
Yeah.
Or at least like, and not to sound like cross or anything or crude, but like that is probably like girls from the age of 16 to 30, right? And not all underage girls, I'm not saying that, but like it's probably that demographic, right?
Yeah.
And he's like and it's just a complete like, and he's not the only one that does it, but it's like I don't know, this song is just like a satire on that sort of stuff.
Let's
because as someone that has gone through that stuff for real, as like many others have, and come out the other side of it, luckily in a more positive headspace, there are also a lot of people that have come out the other side of it that aren't alive anymore. So like,
absolutely.
I think it's I don't know, it kind of rubs me the wrong way when I see it like used like that. But I also, from a commercial standpoint, and being in a band and being in a business, like I understand it, but like it's so easy to tell when it's just like a facade, or it's just being used as a point of sale to sell the music in a way. Yeah. Like when it's completely see-through and completely transparent.
Absolutely.
It's so easy to just to just point and laugh at it in a way. And it just and I think that's why most people do with like MGK. And it's not, like I said, it's not just him, but he's like the easiest one to point to, right?
Definitely.
And I think it's why so many people so many people point to him and say like, no, like that's like not one of us in a way.
Definitely.
Where, like,
absolutely.
And like, I'm not a person that likes gatekeeping or any of that, and I don't think that's a healthy way to view any community or any fandom or whatever, or any stan culture or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely a difference between gatekeeping like that and like doing it for the sake of doing it just because you like don't want people to enjoy the things that you enjoy, or you want to keep this small niche of things that you enjoy as a small niche and not have like a lot of other people enjoy it because you're afraid it'll be too it'll become too saturated and it'll change how you feel about those things or whatever. And then having a huge commercial artist and a huge mainstream artist just all of a sudden change their entire, personality and whatever it is to be centered around something that isn't genuine, I guess.
No, I
just
fully agree with your sentiment and everything you say. And this is,
and maybe it sounds pretentious. I don't really
doesn't
know or care, but it's just something that I find super funny and super cringe at the same time.
Let's go for it. This is Russian Roulette.
Let's go right for
Again, wasn't too sure if I muted too soon, but pretty much
No, you're
on
right.
that.
I'll just add to what I was saying before the song by
Yeah.
saying that like I don't know the mental struggles that any of these like big pop artists that do that, like not pop, but you know, like any of these artists, these big artists like the ones I mentioned. I don't know what mental struggles they go to. I'm not going to pretend to know. So
Yeah.
they might go through the same mental struggles, whatever. Like, but it's how it reads like publicly is my thing, like, and how it comes across publicly. Like, if it comes across as just a transparent like costume almost that you're putting on, to, you know, to capitalize on that group of people in particular and that particular thing, even if you weren't known for it prior, that's what I mean. Like, it's that, and it's also like that type of person as well. Like, this song was written like completely ironically and completely satirically from like that perspective of like anytime that they're criticized online, they call it like being canceled. Like they say like, oh, I'm being criticized online, therefore like I'm being canceled. And we all know who those people are. Like they're just, and I just find it so, I mean, for one, it's like extremely like just childish in the first place, but also just extremely funny that anytime they get dragged online, they like say that they're being canceled, right? So this is like a song that is completely ironically written from that point of view of being one of those people that like that can't take just maybe, I mean, like, yeah, it's like written about those two things, about that kind of transparent fetishization of that like mental health, you know, and yeah, it's more about like the fetishization of mental health more than like emo culture or whatever.
Yeah.
And then also adding on to that, it's like in the lyrics of this song, like in like mainly like the theme of like the witch hunt theme and the occult theme of all that stuff. It was kind of thematically tying into all those like same sorts of people crying online about, you know, every time they're canceled or people don't like them online or their music is criticized online or something they say is criticized online. They say that they're being canceled, which is fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like no, you're just being criticized, and you can, you know, there are many ways you can take that. Crying about being canceled because you're being criticized online is like the funniest fucking way you can take it.
I agree. I
Yeah,
absolutely
so
agree.
it's a song. It is a song that is not meant to be taken seriously. It's a song that is completely like just taking the piss of those things, and a song that is meant to be just kind of, I don't know, taken in satire in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like, I try not to like, but like as a band and being like treating like a band as a business as I have to do, as like being the one that handles all the merch, handles all that stuff. You know, I have to be online probably more than most of the other guys, like in terms of like being on social media. So like it's what I see, like it's what you see like every day. That there's so many people that take things that way, where you could instead, you know, take your criticism on the cheek and on the chin, sorry, not the cheek, and try to grow from that and try to like internalize it and, you know, understand it and understand what people do like, instead of just like, I don't know, clapping back with, I don't know, like just negativity mainly. Like I try to be as positive as I can be, but you know, it's very difficult especially on places like Twitter.
Yeah.
It's
the cesspit.
it can be very difficult sometimes, even though
Of course.
there are a lot of people there I like. It's just very hard to be in a mentally positive place when you're on that. Yeah, when you're on Twitter.
Absolutely. Good points raised.
So, yeah.
Fully backed. Let's move on to the Downtown Dinosaur Gang Part 3, which has won the song name of the evening, I think.
All right, so I'll keep this one brief. This song is literally just a big full circle moment reference to the Downtown Dinosaur Gang Part 1, which is on like our very first EP from like 2015, 2014. It lifts melodies as like leitmotifs from that song and basically transfers them like whole cloth into this song, and kind of acts as like a yeah, like a return to that first song, and yeah, and it was just a cool way of, like, the song was completely like not written instrumentally to be like a follow up to that one, but I was just getting that same sort of vibe as the Downtown Dinosaur Gang Part 1, then Part 2, then this one just kind of felt like it clicked into place. And as I was demoing it, for one, it's just another song that's just like complete fucking nonsense. But that was like how I was writing originally, like when I started in 2015, because I was in that first EP. I'd never written anything before. That was the first EP I'd ever worked on. Like, the recording is shit, the audio quality is shit from my end. The lyricism and all that stuff is just nonsense, right? So I kind of just wanted to return to that and lift those melodies from that song and transfer them into this one, just to kind of do it in a more, I don't know, cohesive way, and kind of pay tribute and like homage that EP, because we'll likely, I don't know, we probably will never remake it or remaster it or whatever, because it's just like, it's part of our past and part of our history as a band, and we kind of just, I think I've like said it probably a lot, like both here and to other people, but we always like just moving forward. We don't want to go back and remaster old stuff or remake old stuff, because for one, we just don't have the money to do it, like not at this stage. Like, it had cost us like 10 to 15,000 Australian dollars to do like a remake of, say, like Metropolis or Dream Machines, or, you know, any album really. Like, that's just to the quality that we now expect of ourselves. It would take like that much money to do those albums again. And that isn't even taking into consideration like marketing budget or, you know, like ads or anything like that. That's, yeah, it's a huge commitment to remake an album, unless you can like do it all DIY by yourself. So this is just like a song that nods. Sorry, I said I'd keep it brief, but I've gone off on.
No, I love
God
it. That's why they're called deep dives.
But yeah.
Let's go. This is Dinosaur Gang Part 3.
I wonder what they're
There we go. Downtown Dinosaur Gang Part 3. Again, I love it. Again, it does have... It feels very nostalgic to me, again, with that style of post-hardcore.
Yeah, that was always the goal, I think, because, like, it was meant to echo back to, like, the same sort of sound that we had in 2015, so...
It
that
definitely
was kind
did that.
Yeah.
Up next is the epic of the album. We've got Lament. Well, I say that, it's just that it's much longer than the other ones.
Longest, yeah.
Yeah.
This song is basically just like, to put it simply, it's just like an amalgamation or a collection of like life experiences that have all given me that same feeling, which is like lament, right? So any like all the negative experiences that have made me feel that way, everything from whether it's like a relationship or like family stuff or it could be anything that's like a regret or anything that's like I wish I didn't do that, or I wish that hadn't have happened, or I wish I hadn't wasted that time, or I wish I hadn't worked on this, or I hadn't, just all those feelings that kind of like just bottle up over time. And this was just a way of kind of like putting that into the form of a song and just capturing that one feeling, which is it's luckily not a feeling that I have very often, but it's one that I like to it's a powerful feeling, I think, and I think putting it into a song that's all about that one thing is a very I think the song kind of speaks for itself on that front. So it kind of I think that feeling comes through the song more than anything. So yeah.
Absolutely. Let's go. This is track 12, Lament.
I understood you once, I understood you then. We all make some mistakes, we're only human. I thought I would have seen this coming in the end, but I still trusted you, treated you like a friend. Look where that's gotten me, restless in my own head. I only think of you. that burden on you. Don't tell me how I should feel, 'cause I'll only lose more of myself to you. So if you want me, you better make it clear soon. I can't wait around for you, no matter how much you want to. I felt so lost. I never felt so low till I realized you've been stringing me along. I felt so lost. I feel like I can't trust myself the same way, like I did so long. I felt so lost. I never felt so wrong till I realized you've been stringing me along. I felt so lost. You've been stringing me along. I never felt so wrong.
God damn, that is a masterpiece. It really is. It's again, yeah, just lyrically, man. It's so hard hitting. Personally, like I suppose
That's
for a
probably
lot of
that's probably
people.
like the rawest song on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what place I was in when I was writing that. I think I was probably in. This was, I don't know. Lyrically, I can't remember when I wrote this song, but it was from a while back, even before. It's probably like before like 2020 even. So yeah, it's probably like lyrically like 3 years old, but it was like I still like when I was writing it for this album in particular, it was like I was like updating it to kind of match where I was at that stage, and then yeah, it's yeah, it was kind of just writing how I was feeling at the time, which I was probably not having a good day. So
No, and you know what?
Yeah.
It shows. It's a
yeah,
very
that's okay, and that's
of course, yeah.
yeah. But like this half of the album is like maybe other than the next song, and maybe Cry Baby, which are mainly like references to things. The back half of the album is mainly just like a venting sort of like
Sure.
exercise. Yeah.
Let's go on to track 13, Dungeon Dweller, featuring the one and only Craig Owens.
Yeah, so this song is just, I mean, this is just a big, like, Phantom of the Opera reference for one, but it was also like written pretty much out of context the rest of the album. It's a song that Max wrote like a long time before we even I think it was like written like almost at the same time or near to the same time as Metropolis was written. So like back in oh god, like 20 when did Metropolis come out? 2020. This was probably written like in 2020 or slightly after it. So it's probably like by the time we got to this album, it was probably a song that was already like a year old, right? So it was like a demo that had been there, that was just like sitting around, that was one of those ones that had just never gotten used. Once again, why we have committed to not doing that anymore, and we write now when we have an idea instead of just continually writing. So it was one that I felt like had like a pretty strong like Chiodos vibe, or it had like a vibe that was very like theatrical while also being like, it had like the Spanish guitar in it, and it had a lot of qualities that personally I would attribute to a band like Chiodos that had a lot of those same qualities. So I was like, you know, it would be fucking cool if we could get Craig for this, because it would match perfectly. And he's done like it had the same sort of vibe as something like Bone Palace Ballet by Chiodos, or some stuff off Illumin Audio, but it was kind of closer to maybe like Bone Palace Ballet. So we were like, yeah, Craig would be amazing if we can get him on that. And then so same story as most of the features that, you know, the people that I've worked with, is I just hit them up, whether it's by, I can't remember whether it was by email. I think this one was email or something. And then, you know, not really anticipating a response back, but then you get one back and it's like, okay, well then how do we make it happen? What parts do you want? Like all that stuff. So yeah, it came together pretty well. And I'm really happy with it. By the end, it was, you know, it kind of just it kind of came together being the vibe that I wanted it to be vocally. and fitting that sort of, I don't know, that it fit like the Phantom of the Opera kind of theme like perfectly by the end, and it was yeah, really hitting all of the notes that it needed to hit for me. So yeah, it's basically just a big Phantom of the Opera song.
Perfect. Let's go for it. This is Dungeon Dweller featuring Craig Owens.
I was dead, but you brought me back to life. Down in the catacombs that night, your soaring voice entwined with mine. The most beautiful thing I've heard in life. Can't you see the man behind the monster? Will she run no matter how much I want her? She pulls away the mask and all is revealed. The love that's hiding under scars that won't be healed. Can't you see the man behind the monster? Will she run no matter how much I want her? She pulls away the mask and all is revealed. The love that's hiding under scars that won't be healed. Can't you see the red behind the monster? I hear a voice deep below the eyebrow. The way she speaks to my broken soul, it's like no other that I've ever known. If you accept me, I'll give you the world. Make you feel the way that no one ever will. No one ever will. It's been so dark without you. It's been so still. Quietly biding my time until I can make you mine. Can't you see the man behind the monster? Will she run no matter how much I want her? Can't you see the man behind the monster? Will she run no matter how much I want her? She pulls away the mask and all is revealed. The love that's hiding under scars that won't be healed. Can't you see the red behind the monster? I hear a voice deep below the eyebrow. The way she speaks to my broken soul, it's like no other that I've ever known. Past the point of no return now. Death is the only way out. This love will burn it all down. With my phantom in a sea of flames we drown.
What a tune. We've got Eris, who is another resident Tom Byrne stan, like myself, saying that she always knew that this was, always had a suspicions that this was about Phantom of the Opera, so that's why she likes these deep dives, so that it's...
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it was pretty clear from the music video.
Yeah, I mean...
Or the, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely, to be fair. What was Craig like to work with?
I met him like we started the conversation about the song, and then he was on tour at the time, so it was like a bit difficult figuring out like timing for it, which was I think like he had to do it like right before he went on tour, and then we had like a few changes to make, and he was already on tour. So it was a bit difficult to figure out the timing of it at first, but we got it done luckily, which was why this song was originally meant to be the first single, but it got bumped to being the second single, just because of that timing.
Right.
So we had to figure out how to get everything recorded for it that we wanted while he was starting to go on tour. So it was a bit of it was a little bit difficult there, but it got figured out by the end, which was good.
Awesome.
And I got to meet him when he came to Australia only a few weeks, I think it was, after we started talking about the song, which was nice to get to actually meet him and talk to him about the song in person for a little bit before I had to drive home, because it was already fucking late as shit, because I think the show went till like 11 p.m. and then they went to like a bar for like the after party sort of thing, and Craig had like a DJ set. And then we talked for a little bit about the song, and I had to dip like after about like 15 minutes of talking to him about it. But that was nice. It was nice to get to actually like speak like without, it was nice to like speak in just an open way, and not have to be talking through like managers or anything or whatever, just to talk about the song, to get it kind of like clear what we wanted and stuff like that, to make sure there wasn't anything ambiguous or whatever. So yeah, it was good. And like, I think just having him on the song in general, like it elevates it to a point of where I wanted it to be, which was to be like an homage to like a Chiodos track, which was not the intention starting out when writing it, because like I said, it was already like a old demo by the time I even got to putting vocals on it. But and it wasn't even really like a vocally meant to be like an homage to Chiodos. It just kind of felt that way, like holistically as a track. It really just kind of all came together like that. And then by the end of it, when I was done with it, done demoing vocals, I was like, like it would be cool to have like either Craig or Brandon from Chiodos on this. And Craig was just the easiest one to get in contact with, because I had no idea how to contact Brandon, who was the vocalist on Illumin Audio for Chiodos. But obviously Craig is more closely associated with Chiodos, since he had more time in the band.
Yeah.
So that one made more sense, even though I love Brandon's voice on on Illumin Audio as well.
Sure.
So, yeah, it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
so
it came together really well.
Awesome. Let's go to penultimate track, Nothing Natural. What can you tell us about this one?
So this one's more of just like a vent track as well. It's just like the feeling. I mean, it speaks for itself in both the title and the lyrics, where the lyrics are like, "There's nothing natural about the way this feels." So it's basically just saying that. It's basically, I'm in being in a situation or a relationship or whatever it might be, and having that feeling, which is a horrible feeling to have, like in a relationship or whatever, where you're in it, but that it doesn't feel right, or that it feels like you're forcing things, or it feels like you're both trying but nothing's working, and even though that it's for the best that you separate, it's still difficult to do. And I think this song was more just about me getting that frustration out, that I've had a few of those where it feels like I'm just forcing things for the sake of being with someone, to have or to have something, to just be with someone. I have the feelings feel like they're either superficial, or they're not genuine, or even if they're genuine, it feels like maybe that I'm having to force them to be genuine, or that I have to I don't know. It's just about that one particular feeling, which I thought was very, very poignant at the time. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. This is track 14, Nothing Natural.
Nothing natural about the way this
again, I know I've been saying it from the last 14 tracks, but I think that one, that track for me stands out like unique, bit different to the rest. I think it has a real, obviously again still melodic, but like very dark atmosphere as well to it as well. But so good, man, so good. But
I think it's like one of the only songs on the album that has like the screaming and the chorus as well. Maybe there's some others, but
no, definitely. That's I think that makes the chorus like hit even harder as well when the contrasting like that.
Too.
So what anybody knows me knows that like one of my favorite bands on earth is Idola and Andrew Wells. Amazing.
Me too.
This is so. Obviously, I saw the awesome thing when you joined them on stage. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember.
That was in 2022 December. November 2022, I think.
Wow, was it that long ago? But I was presuming that this is where maybe the discussion of Andrew's feature maybe started,
it was
even before that.
It was before that, yeah. So I think he had already chosen and already tracked the feature before. Maybe it was before that, or it might have been after. Could have been after. I feel like it was after because that seems way too early. That's like a year. I don't know. We were in production for a while. We could have been in production for like 8 months or something close to that. No, not 8 months. Probably like close to 4 or 5. So yeah, it would have been close. I know that I don't know if he would have chosen a track at that point.
Right.
Or maybe he'd chosen the track, but he hadn't actually recorded it yet.
Yeah.
Because I've known Andrew like on, I've known him just like on a communication level for like the last like 6 or 7 years, like since like 2016 or something.
Yeah.
And then the first time I met him was in like 2018, and then I think I met him another time since then, and then I was in America and I was actually like hanging out with him and stuff at that show. So I've met him a few times, but that Florida show was the most time I've pretty much spent with him, I think, until I saw him recently again when he came to Australia to play, and that was when was that? I think that was late, so in November. I think that was November 2023.
Would that be a bin DGD? Was that?
Yeah, so that was seeing. I mainly went to just see him because we had a hangout afterwards, just to catch up and talk about the song and talk about their new album, and talk about like what the release plans were, because it was pretty, we had to get that sort of sorted. So it was just much easier to talk to him in person than to talk to him like through text, because he's a very busy dude, and he takes him a little while to reply via text sometimes. So it was good to just sit down and have a conversation about it, and have a conversation about what he's been working on, what we've been working on. So yeah, he sent me like the new Idola album. So I've listened to that quite a few times, and that's fucking.
I cannot stop listening to that new song, so I can't imagine how good that.
Oh, dude, is. Like that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
like that's.
I don't doubt it.
This album is.
And then we get another one later in the year as well. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is there. I'm not sure if he's already confirmed if it's later in the year.
Oh, I thought it was. Coming. I thought on one of their. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if it's confirmed yet.
Right.
I know they're recording it. They're still recording stuff right now. I'm pretty sure. I don't think they've finished recording just yet. So
no,
there's still
a lot to do
on the knowledge that I have on how long production takes, like mixing and mastering.
Yeah.
There's probably still a good few months ahead of them. They'll also still be busy with their release schedule for this album. So my bet, I have no insider info on when the next one's coming, but my bet, just from knowing how long mixing takes and all that stuff, my bet would be either it's going to be, if it does come this year, it'll be closer to the end of this year.
Definitely.
When you'll start getting singles, and then it might release early 2025. Because usually when you have a rollout of an album, even though this album for them is coming out in April, I think it's April, right?
Yeah. April, definitely.
So that's still only like 2 months away.
Yeah.
So not even 2 months, like less than that.
It is.
So there could be a very large possibility that their mixing schedule goes faster than I'm anticipating, and they're able to get it out quicker than I even think. But judging from the fact that they're doing, I don't know. I have no idea how many singles they're doing, so I'm not privy to any of that information. I'm just friends with Andrew. He sent me the album. I love the album.
Yeah,
That's it. He's a fucking amazing dude.
he is.
So I have no insider info whatsoever. Not that I would divulge it, even if I had it.
Absolutely no.
Just from my assumption alone, I would say that if this is coming out in April, they'd probably want to, I don't know, ride the wave of that release for a little bit and promote post-release for a few months, maybe like 2 or 3 months, and then you might start seeing more singles from, say, the second album. So yeah, I would say like latter half of the year, if not moving into 2025, maybe early 2025.
I think that is probably a good point.
Yeah, that's the most realistic.
Yeah. So let's talk before we play and close the stream out. Let's talk about Crybaby.
Yep. So this is kind of like a funny one, because I doubt that when Andrew chose this song that he had any idea what it was to do with. I doubt he's like an anime guy or watches any of that stuff. Just from he doesn't have the time. I don't think he has the time for that, and I doubt he's the type of dude that has interest in it, and that's perfectly fine. Like, he doesn't need to know, like he doesn't really need to know that it's inspired by an anime or whatever, or that it's about an anime. And he doesn't have to care that it's about an anime or whatever. He just liked the song. He loved the song, and he wanted to be on it, and he wanted to sing on it. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
And I love him. I love him for that. But yeah, the song is basically inspired and heavily written about Devilman, Crybaby, or Devilman in general. Like, Crybaby is basically just a remake and a reinterpretation of the old Devilman series, just like, yeah, reanimated and redone for a more modern, contemporary, I guess, audience. So yeah, I don't know. It's just an anime that's stuck with me for a long time. Like, it's a fucking brutal anime. Like, and you don't expect that going into it. And I think that's what I wanted to get out of this song as well, where it starts off really nice and serene, and you have like really nice melodic parts, and then towards the end it just picks up pace, and it turns into something that you didn't expect. And that's kind of the entire point of the Devilman anime as well, where it picks up, and at the start you have no idea what it's going to be, and as it goes along it just turns into something completely unexpected and horrific. And you had like, yeah, it was kind of like, I wrote the lyrics to it based on that, and it kind of just took on a life of its own after, and just became the Devilman song, I guess. Like, it's not even like to do like anything to do with like being, it's not how do I put it? It's not to do with anything like with the actual anime or anything Devilman actually related. It's literally just a song about the anime. Like, we've had people commenting like, oh, is this actually like to do with the anime like coming back or anything? And I'm like, no, we're just fans of the anime. Like, we're not.
Fair enough.
Or I'm just a fan. Yeah. So
no, I love that,
dude. It's getting super late for you, so I'm gonna I'll be short with it.
Oh no, I literally love this song. I would listen to it for another 50 times. This is the final track of the deep dive. We'll have closing comments after it, but any last questions? Get them in now. This is Crybaby. And that is it. That is Violent Delights Deep Diving 4 with the
Oh.
legend. The legend. Not only did he get up extremely early, that is 3 hours of Mr. Byrne's
That's
morning
all right,
that's
dude.
given.
No worries.
Honestly, it's always honestly such a pleasure to have you and talk about your music.
Yeah,
I'm hoping the next one
course.
is
It's
either
like-
with your new project that you were saying, or my God, Valiant Hearts. Do I even? Whoa.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll update everyone on everything right now. So Valiant Hearts, we're actually working on both Galleons and Valiant Hearts are working on an EP for this year. So it'll be like it's kind of like just a funny, like stupid idea, but like kind of makes sense that we have we're working on a split EP for both bands to release
That is the coolest news. Yeah.
as the follow up to Violent Delights, but it's not like connected to that or anything. It's like just a standalone thing. So Galleons like still has music coming out, but in the meantime, we can still release some Valiant Heart songs that didn't quite make the album that we're working on. So, like the Valiant Heart songs that'll be on the EP are actually probably closer to being like in in sound to being like a little Galleons just so they're like the EP sounds like a little bit consistent at least. But like a lot of the Galleon songs that'll be on it, it'll be 4 from each, so it'll be 4 songs from each, so it'll be like 8 songs
Awesome.
on the EP. But a lot of the Galleon songs, there's like 2 relatively new ones, which are from Max, which I haven't even demoed yet, and then 2 very old ones from Eugene. So there's ones that we've had as demos for years now that have never seen the light of day that will be on that, and then 2 new ones that'll be probably closer in tone and stuff to Violent Delights, but not like connected to it. And then the Valiant Heart stuff will be just stuff that we didn't feel fit the sound of the album or whatever. So with the Valiant Heart stuff, I wouldn't take that as an indicator of the sound of the album, is
Sure.
all I'm gonna say. I would take that as just an indicator of just songs that were cut but we didn't want to not use. So we still wanted to use
Fair.
them, but you know, they didn't fit with what we're trying to do for the album, which is like kind of closer to closer to I don't know. I would say it's like closer to Odyssey, but it's also moving things forward. Like there's not going to be much screaming on it, I would say, if any, and like it's probably closer to that sort of sound. So
amazing. That couldn't be more excited for that.
so yeah. But yeah, then the other project that me and Sergey have, that'll be we're working on getting some singles done up. Like we're recording guitar for it at the moment, and we're getting closer to stuff like that. Like that was meant to be in 2023, but it was just with Galleons, it was just there was too much going on.
Fair.
So we had to push it. Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, thank you for having me. And if anyone's got any questions to finish out the night, I think that'd be a nice way to go.
It would be. Yeah, and again, thank you so much as always, man, for your time.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
A lot of people just with so much love for this. A lot of new people in the stream, which is obviously really cool. So thank you for following Tom along. My question is, don't you have legal problems for using the anime name and Devilman's image?
Not that I know of, because it's fan, like I think it would be considered under transformative, same way that what's it called, fair use works.
Yeah, definitely.
Where you see many bands, like I could probably find you like at least like 10 bands that have printed anime designs from Death Note,
Demon Slayer. There's like
Demon Slayer,
ton,
Dragon Ball, all these things on all their merch and sold it. But I think it's considered under fair use and transformative media by copyright law. So by using, say, fan art of Devilman, like we haven't used any artwork from the actual release of the anime. The 3D model is not from the anime, that was made also as fan art. I didn't make it; it was just from like a creator on Sketchfab. But I made the actual artwork for the single, and then also using an AMV as the visuals for the song. AMVs are also covered under fair use copyright law, because you're using it as heavily transformative media.
Yeah.
So you're basically you're basically cutting an entire anime season down into a 3-minute song, and it's not at all in the same format that it is, say, on Netflix. So, and it's not the same, like, it's not using music from the anime, you know, it's not using, I mean, it is using visuals from the anime, yes, but once you heavily transform that into something completely new, basically, usually it is covered under fair use copyright law. So there shouldn't be anything in terms of like breaking copyright law that can be, you know, that is happening there.
Awesome.
So that was, I mean, I was very aware of that when I was organizing it. So
of course,
yeah, and I was making AMVs for years, even before I started doing music. So I'm pretty, like, I'm not a copyright lawyer, but I'm pretty, you know, I've been around that sort of stuff for years. So I'm pretty confident to say that we're safe. Yeah.
No, you absolutely.
And if we're not, then I think we have a pretty good defense in fair use, and also the fact that it's like fan art, and it's a, you know, more than anything, it's less about promoting our music and more promoting
the anime,
the fucking Devilman anime.
Yeah.
Because we're bringing free advertising to them for, you know, something that isn't even, it isn't related. We haven't said it's related. It's just fan art, basically, or fan, you know, fan promotion, really, of their property. And it's, you know, heavily edited, heavily transformed. It's not anything that they've released officially. So
I think you are absolutely safe. Tom, thank you so much for your time this morning for yourself. And I can't wait for whenever the next one is. And again, honestly, thank you so much for your time, man. You're an absolute hero.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for having me. And thank you for staying up so late.
Worth it.
What time is it there now? It's like 12 a.m., 1 a.m.?
1:15.
All right, yeah, I'm going to let you go get some sleep.
It's all good, brother. Yeah. Worth it to speak to you about this phenomenal album. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for watching, everyone. See ya.